Heyo, it's Phil with Digging Deeper. Hey, we got a project I've been talking about for a little bit. We're putting in a concrete floor for a prefab metal barn. These things, if you've ever done them, everyone's different. Depends on the manufacturer of the barn. And I mean, they are very, very different as far as how the foundation goes. So you really got to pay attention. On this particular one, I'm just going to walk you through what we're going to do. Hopefully this helps you guys. I personally like the design of this one versus the last one we did. The foundation was entirely too complex. On the last metal building we did. That video should be coming out soon. We're about done with it. But anyway, so we're using this baseline here, just this piece of rebar, which is 1 foot out of the ground, because we want the top of the slab of this thing to be 1 foot. Sorry about the wind. We want the slab of this to be 1 foot off the ground. Here in Park County, they require, even if it's a slab foundation pour that's all one piece. So basically what that means is this is all going to be poured as one, and the concrete will just flow over, actually build up and then come over. But they need this 2 feet below native ground. So this trench has to be 2 feet at its shallowest, which means the whole thing will be, from the base of that to the top of the slab, will be 3 feet in height. In here, we're going to be doing the radiant floor heat. So we've got to measure, we have 5 inches of insulation. So if you're wondering about why 5 inches, well, the customer wanted, oh, you can't see it, it's wrapped up, but the customer wanted the 2-inch insulation board, and then the snap-in foam board for the radiant PEX tubing. And that insulation board is about 3 inches total. It's really 2 inches of insulation and then the little tiny knobs that allow the PEX tubing to snap in. So we got to figure out some elevations here as far as how much of this crusher fines pile needs to go in here, so that when we pour the 5-inch slab on top, we have this 5 inches of slab, 5 inches of insulation and PEX tubing, and then crusher fines. So basically we have to reverse engineer all that here in a second. In addition to that, we got to make sure we have a couple of inches of crusher fines or road base, something of that nature, in this trench, so that it is truly 36 inches, maybe a little more, depending on the elevation. This is a pretty flat spot, but it does fall off a little bit going to this back, falls off going to this back corner. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I just shot that with the laser. I need about 4 inches of crusher fines here on that back edge, and then like 2 to 3 up here. So the big dump truck is should be getting out of the shop tomorrow. A whole number of things on that I'll tell you guys about another time. So we had to use the small dump truck. This is like 8.5, 9 tons. And I think I'm gonna need just about all of that. So I'm just gonna set up shop with my mini excavator, and I'm just gonna do 2 turns with it. Boom. First turn, first pile right here on the dirt, because we'll want a little bit of more solid ground there anyway. And then I've got another load of crusher fines coming in and 2 loads of cobble. So between this load and the other load, hopefully that'll be good. So let's get started, and it's a Saturday late afternoon, so I'm just gonna basically try to get this in there and then call it a day. To you guys, it'll be all right. That was fun. We got some pressure fines in here on the pad. So let's go test that out and just find us a spot that's anywhere close, and then I'll mark it, and we'll go from there. Got it. I think we need more pressure fines. I think I shared with you guys, we were putting, trying to get this center part compacted and get it where we wanted, but this soil this was not brought in a dump truck, so it's probably like 60% rocks. So as we were trying to dig just a trench to pour a slab, and then that slab would kind of flow over and make the footer on the side, this is deteriorating so bad and getting so wide. I mean, this started as like 2 feet wide. You can see over here, that's the edge, and then all the way here. It was just getting wider and wider. And every time we tried to track a machine in to do work, it just was not cool. So anyway, we went ahead and kind of framed out the inside here so that we could pack this in, compact it. And what we're gonna do is put 2-inch insulation board, which is what that is, down first. Then we have here a product similar to what Diesel Creek put in his barn project, where you can snap in the PEX tubing. Kind of looks like giant Legos. And so we'll put the PEX tubing in that. And then we'll put the wire mesh that's in a roll there on top of all that. Then we'll have trucks come in and pour this, so we get the outside framed up. We've got 2 feet below grade and 1 foot above grade. So really 2 foot, I guess it's considered a 3-foot footer, and then a slab. So you guys have seen me doing work out here. Finally getting back to this project because we were waiting on 1 box of this stuff, manufactured in Canada by, I think the name of the company is Alagard. Great company. My mistake was I bought it through Lowe's.com. Don't do that. They delivered 11 boxes and then said they were getting in touch with that company to find the 12th box. And I had to reach out to that company. They said they never heard anything from Lowe's. So anyway, a lot of frustration on that, but nevertheless, the site's ready to go. We're gonna be putting all this out later this week, and then we'll be pouring on my birthday. You guys have seen Fernando in other videos. He's hilarious. I told him, I said, but Fernando, Tuesday's my birthday. And he said, that's good, we pour concrete. So that's where we are. Anyway, I'll show you guys, we'll be back later this week and I'll show you guys us putting that stuff down. Hey buddy, these horses are having a good time. They're doing something with this guy over here. If you can see that horse, yep. You know, I like watching animals just be themselves, do their thing. It's encouraging. It reminds me to be myself and do my thing. Getting the insulation in today. You can see we've got the 2-inch under, and then this is Alagard is the name of the product. And that PEX goes in there real nice. It sticks in there really, really well. Fernando and team, we're gonna get the rebar in here. This is gonna be 3 feet thick of concrete kind of footer wall on the side. So this really needs to be braced because it would be bad news. Put concrete in there and those forms, number one, either bow out too much or you have a collapse. So we'll get two levels of rebar in there. This stuff's pretty good. Again, the product is Alagard out of Canada. Compacted all the crusher fines under there. Looking good, guys, looking good. So what we'll do is get this finished out here. Once the PEX tubing goes in, and again, we're using the PEX B tubing. Let me show you. PEX B. The C, PEX C is the cheaper, and it's real flexible, so it's easier to put in, but in this environment, you know, it's gonna get real cold. And we did not want any cracking or breaking over the years. The A is very stiff so very difficult to work with. So the B is really the best option because it's flexible for this type of use. We're gonna do 12-inch spacing on this is what this calls for between the lines. So we'll do 12-inch spacing, and if you use the A, it's so thick and so hard you can't really do it. So the B is what you want to use. And then on top of that, we'll put this wire mesh on top, and then boom, we're ready for concrete on Tuesday. It is Saturday morning. We got so much going on, guys. Having to squeeze this stuff in. So, all right, guys, we got the Alagard styrofoam in, and then we have our PEX B tubing. 1 foot spans is optimal on this. 750 square feet, I think, translates into 750 linear feet. And that kind of worked out for us. So now the next step is we've got some fittings we'll put on this and use a compressor with a gauge, with a regulator gauge. Make sure that all these will hold between 80 and 100 psi for, you know, several hours. But you can see here we did similar to Matt at Diesel Creek. Just use this electrical conduit to have these come up, and so those will stick out of the concrete. And then a plumber can come in and put a manifold up here and plumb it however he or she chooses. So that's that. We're gonna trim a little bit more on the side. There's a couple places over here where we need to trim. It's hanging over the edge a little bit. Other than that, Fernando and his team did a great job on this. Looking good. It's a little bit of a nightmare, like I shared with you guys. We tried to dig a 2 foot wide, or actually a 1 foot wide trench, and it turned into this big old put wood on the inside to hold this all in. Braced it, compacted it with the walk behind compactor. Got it all to grade, and here we are. So we got the inspection today, Saturday. Like I said, we got the inspection Monday morning. They're gonna wanna check to make sure these tubes hold air pressure, and then we'll be pouring concrete. Okay, we got the wire mesh. I don't wanna walk on it. We got the wire mesh on the top. The wood and rocks are to hold it down because it gets windy, and this has to sit for 2 days. So also tucked it under the rebar here. Try to hold it down. Our hoses, our PEX tubing has been holding. He just tested it with 60 psi. It's been holding. So we built this little, I built this little thing at Lowe's. Just a T and some different connections and whatnot. And then there's 3 zones. So we put 90s between 2 of them. And then a cap on the end of the last one. And that's at the beginning of the first one. So it's testing all 3 zones at one time. So we're looking good. Can't wait to get the concrete poured. So we'll check back with you guys. We'll be here when the concrete's pouring for that process. All right, guys, today is the day. We are at the radiant floor heat project, and our concrete is arriving. It's gonna be a little tricky because we got to pull some of the boards out of the inside that have been holding up the square. So we got to work on getting that out while we're pouring. Here we go. All right, we got the belt truck here. All right, so as the concrete is poured, and the sun's not really letting you see this, but there's that OSB board in here that's holding in the ground. So as we pour the concrete, and it provides some pressure. Whoa. Woo. I know what just happened to that truck. Anyway, we're gonna try to pull that board out. So this whole back end, there's 3 bolts that just sheared on the back, just popped right off. Anyway, so the rollers in the back have come off the track. It's all messed up. It's like the whole frame on that truck cracked. Oh my gosh, metal crack in there. I wouldn't even stand near that thing. You can see up under here, there's 3 bolts that sheared off. The truck ain't exactly sitting real straight. You see that track up there? There's supposed to be a roller on each side on it, but the roller over there is not on the track. The torque in that whole truck. This has turned into some excitement. Oh baby. Oh my gosh. Did you try to put the arm in?
One side.
I know. It's like the frame cracked on that thing. Whew. I need a toe job by the time this is done. I can tell you where I wouldn't stand, just right there. What belt?
The belt.
Oh, hey! Hey! So that roller in the back just popped off that track, and now it's wearing a hole in the bell. That's why it's rattling like that, and it's about to wear through. So we showed the driver, and he said, yeah, I know it's broken, but he's not offloading concrete. Oh, there we go, now we stopped it. I feel like it'd be helpful to get the weight off of there.
So, called the boss and he's on his way out trying to figure out what the hell to do. Oh, it's smoking too. Yeah. Yeah, it's rubbing metal on metal. And we just had that welded last week.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Oh, man.
And it's new rollers, those 2 little rollers, were new last week.
Oh, so maybe it was an alignment problem.
Probably.
And those bolts coming off the frame over there aren't helping anything.
No. I don't like how the truck is leaning that way so much.
All right, so the owner of the company is coming out to assess the situation, see if we want to try to get concrete out of that truck. The problem is the whole back end of that cone is worn through, it's broken. So if we keep turning it and that cone snaps off, there's nothing holding the back of that huge concrete, the big round bell in the back, which could cause a major problem. Obviously it could fall, roll off, tip the truck over. So it's kind of a situation that you hate to see, you know, even beside the fact we wanted to pour concrete. I hate to see another small business owner be impacted this way, because that's not going to be a cheap fix, especially if that bell comes off. I think they're trying to empty the concrete and they don't want to try to shoot it in.
I don't know that you want to use it at this point. It's been sitting.
Oh yeah, I guess it's been what, 15, 20? So that thing's probably not safe to drive down the road because it's split right behind that rail on the back of the bell there. So at any point that's gonna give and that whole bell is gonna spill. So we're just trying to back it up and see if we can get some concrete to come out, and in that process it may break apart, concrete may come out, and if so, then at least safely towable at this point. But if they get a tow truck out here right now to tow that, number one, probably too heavy. Number two, it could be a danger to civilization. Oh man, this is crazy. This is crazy. Feel bad for them. It's not turning the drum, I guess. It's hanging up. It may not come out. It's gonna be running here in a second. Look at that. Dude, that thing's about to shear. Oh my god. Oh. Sun coming out. Wait. I cannot believe that big drum is not cracked off yet. You can see the line right behind that rail. It's just sliced in there. All right, well, there's 9 yards of concrete dumped out. We had them at least get it away from the job site. They were talking about getting up on that backfill material and dumping it right there. That wasn't gonna work.
Okay, truck number 2.